We are back with Powerless by Lauren Roberts. We just finished this book. And I mean, like, we literally just finished this book within the last, like, 12 hours. And we immediately need to come here and talk about it. We weren't planning on meeting for at least another 24 hours. And we said, stop everything. We need to talk about the ending of this book. And I would love for nothing more than for my great friend Elena to take the floor on the first thing that you would like to dive into in this book.
And I should have thought about this more because there's so many things I hated about this section. like I'm sorry, I feel like I was so tentative going into this section. I was like, oh, it's gonna go like it could go like this, and I'm gonna hate it. And literally everything that I was like, I'm gonna hate this happened. Like this kid's evil origin story. It's confirmed her dad isn't. I'll go slower. Let's start with Kit's origin story.
Please do.
She could have. First of all, I hate books where the main conflict is caused by the main character doing something dumb. That's the point we're at for the rest of the series. Because the king is dead, so the main villain is gonna be Kit. And she had Kit wrapped around her finger. She could have helped, like, I don't know, a slightly subtler assassination attempt that she couldn't be tied to, and then Kit becomes king without his evil little rage. And she convinced him to do everything that the kingdom needs. But now she's a traitor of the kingdom. He hates her and all ordinaries probably, and he has like weird little internal monologues being like being called your majesty. Oh, it feels good. I want to make my dad proud. He's the only parent I have. Like, shut the heck up. Like, what the hell?
All right,
Sorry, okay, those are my thoughts on Kit.
I'm going to come in as devil's advocate. And
No.
this really has occurred, like, this thought has occurred to me. And honestly, I could not agree with everything that you said more. But the thought in my mind is that I would say that all three of our main characters had very strange reactions, in my opinion, like that followed through. I understand immediate reactions, but focusing on Kit first, um, do you think that there is a world in which good Kit comes back? Because there's that line about like good Kit being dead, and I was like, oh no. But like, is there a world in which this like very sweet, very thoughtful boy can get past the girl that he had a crush on, that his brother also had a crush on, that he knew he had a crush on, who, used him uh to bring the resistance? Like, is there a way in which he gets over this? Like, does anyone think that he's gonna turn around, or is he gonna be the villain for the rest of the series?
An optimist? I want to say yes.
Right, because like he's hurting right now. And I do
Yeah.
understand, like, if I put aside what I think his reaction should have been, he is grieving, right? Like his dad did die, and we knew throughout this book that he and his dad had a complicated relationship. Whether we agree with like him wanting to please his dad at this point, which I do not, I I can understand that it is traumatic in a certain way to have your dad murdered, no matter what kind of person he is. And I understand him being upset about what's happened with Peyton. So, like, I get that he's got to get through that. I hope he gets through that, personally.
I think I would have more hope if it was just the like I'm angry, grief. And there wasn't the she's not my mother is dead. I need to make my father proud. Like I think there's a chance in like the end of book through 3 he's dying and realizes he was wrong the whole time. But like a full turnaround where he doesn't continue the genocide and like acknowledges that he's wrong, it feels off the table for me just from the perspective of like not even looking at what's here in this chapter so much as looking at plot wise, there's no one else set up to be the villain right now. Like there needs to be someone still leading the anti-ordinaries movement, and the only
Mhm.
person for that is Kit right now.
Yeah, I would agree that at least for the first half of Reckless, it is Kit being like, I'm gonna be just like my dad and make him proud. Maybe even like going like a little harder in that direction. And I'm just wondering if book two is him and Kai, and I guess Peyton because she's also upset. Everyone's upset. I have a lot of thoughts. All three of them getting over themselves and then like coming to terms with the shit, becoming better people, and then book three is the book we actually want, where they're all like doing the things that they should be doing. Like, is that a possibility?
Sure. I don't have high hopes.
We could speak it into existence.
There's a chance. I knew that evil origin story kit was coming, and it came, and I didn't like it as much as I thought I wasn't gonna like it.
It did come like a huge truck down a long highway that you're standing at the other end of. Like we saw those highway, like those high beams coming from a long way off.
Ugh.
Frustrating. I feel like the entire time, especially you, Brooke, were like, and what's Kit doing in the background? Like, there has to be some other motivation behind his, like, happy-go-lucky demeanor for, like, why he doesn't seem upset at any of these things. It wasn't. Like, it was
Wasn't.
just, that's his personality, is that he's super bubbly and kind and nice. So, to do a full 180 to now being, like, kind Kit is dead just feels like a huge reversal for me. Like if there had been a little bit of something underneath any of the other, I don't know.
I will say that the one thing that does check out is like this is pure like kid that was coddled his entire life
Hmm.
is now for the first time not getting what he wants and is throwing like the mother of all tantrums, which usually children get over. So my hope is that it's not so much like his evil origin story as it is like his huge like adult young adult tantrum, where he's just like got to come to terms with the fact that he's taking himself a little too seriously.
Yeah, like this
Yeah.
maybe will be his reality check.
Yeah, and I will say at very least we got like several instances of him being like, I love my dad. He's not that bad. So at least that's not out of nowhere, even if it's stupid. Um, but hated it.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was
didn't make it better.
yeah, it was disappointing. It gave me such ick when he was
Um,
like, "Oh, I liked it when he said Your Majesty. I like the name of that." No, 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 no.
and I think Kai has is it Kit or Kai? One of them has a thought where it's like, oh, it's weird not being equals anymore. But I'm sure we'll get used to it.
It, yeah,
It feels like they potentially won't get used to it.
and like those nuggets are still there, right? Like at the very least, I was still seeing like Hit's humanity in there. I because I was seeing like I knew I'd be in charge of my brother someday, and like it's weird, but yeah, well, like we'll get there, and like it really strikes me as a big old tantrum, and I'm hoping that it is short lived.
Um, any thoughts on if Kit's mom is dead? Because he said like 4 times in that chapter that his mom is dead.
There's a chance she's alive.
I feel like there's a
Brooke might
chance
be
of
on the side if she's not.
that. See, I'm in uncharted territory because I feel like I now in this series I have to assume that anything could happen and anything could not happen, and I have no idea. I don't I don't know, because the thing that threw me the most for a loop is when I think like episode 1 Brooke was like, "Did you guys see the part where Kai like killed the guy and stood over the pool of blood? He totally killed Peyton's dad." And then you guys thankfully reminded me that Peyton is very convinced that the king killed her dad. So like the only options
Yeah.
are King killed dad, someone who looks just like King, aka Kit, killed dad, or shapeshifter killed dad. Because Peyton is convinced, like PTSD about his eyes, convinced that the king killed her dad. And then we find out that I was right and I shouldn't have been. I should not have been, because someone who looks absolutely nothing like the king, that Peyton wouldn't have been able to connect to the king at all, killed her dad. And somehow we just need to believe that Peyton inserted 15-year-old 13-year-old enemy into body that looks nothing like him.
I don't get it. A girl who
That
has
was
been
the most
raised and taught to be observant as like her power, and then just chalk it up to being like, oh, I misremembered it. Like what?
Because
that was
okay, here
wholly
here here
unbelievable.
yes. And I'm going to take a step back and be another Brooke, and I'm going to play devil's advocate on myself. And the devil's
Like,
advocate here is like, oh, Jacob, do you have thoughts?
Brooke wants to know if you have thoughts. He brought me part of the cookie.
Um,
He made
real
matcha cookies, and he said he doesn't like them.
see,
Oh, I do
this
not
is
know.
What do they remind you of?
They taste like matcha without any sugar.
There's so much sugar in them.
Oh.
if you guys could ship some to me, that'd be great. I love matcha. Hi,
They're
Jacob.
not great.
You've said that about a lot of Jacob's baked goods in the past, and you're always incorrect. So I'm going to suspend my disbelief on that, much like a lot of the theories that I had for this book. But I love that because real life romance, which is the only reason that I'm still reading this series. Devil's advocate on myself, going back to this, is like, okay, I think someone brought up maybe Peyton doesn't know what the king looks like. So then she was like, oh, yes, could be king. But then you throw that right out because she's like, ooh, I immediately recognize the king and I have PTSD about his green eyes. So it's just like, if we have to believe that she knows exactly what the king looks like, like, how can you explain the I just hallucinated that it was the king? Like, it's so far off. And I guess like we could make an argument for like the PTSD of like seeing someone stab her dad, but it's so far from the truth. Like from black hair to blonde hair, from gray eyes to green eyes, from like a child who is almost her age to a full grown adult. Like there's just nothing,
Yes.
no similarities.
And that's the part that I admire about her is like her using this skill
Yes.
on someone who is like more powerful than her, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I just feel like this is like a slap in the face to us.
It was wild.
It was the most unbelievable thing in this book. Like more so than the resistance continuing to use the house where one of the heads of the resistance was murdered. Which like again we could kind of suspend disbelief and be like, oh, maybe he didn't get killed because he was part of the resistance, and then the king immediately went, I knew he was part of the resistance. Why do you think I killed him? And it's like, okay, so definitively they're still using the house. What a cool basement.
Yep.
So that's unbelievable. This was like up here. Like, I'm sorry, what? Like, she keeps going off about Kit's eyes. And it was like, girlie, you saw the king once and you're focusing on his eyes. Girlie, you saw the king 0 times and you're like, the murder eyes. Well, you're lovingly staring into the actual murder eyes. Like, what? Like, it didn't come back to you at all. Like, when you saw him randomly on the street of the loot, you weren't like, oh shoot, that's actually the guy. And like, to Jamie, I was like, I guess maybe the king was standing there and like blocking Kai, so she couldn't really see Kai, and then she associated the king. And Jamie was like, no, the king wasn't there. And I was like,
Wasn't even there.
Because that was the theory that we brought up in the last episode, right? That you guys
Mhm.
thought, like, when you brought up like, oh, maybe Kai did kill her dad. And it was like, oh my goodness, like the timeline does that up. Because that was something else. We were like, there's no
Yeah.
way that like 14-year-old Kai is killing Hayden's dad. And then we realized, like, oh my God, yeah, it could be. But then we were like, oh yeah, maybe the king was there. The king's not even there. King's not even there. I
I
have to
know.
say, after going off about this, because I do find it absolutely batshit insane, I can't wait to see what the explanation is in book two. Like, I'm actually, like, I cannot wait. Like, like, do we just chalk it up to PTSD? Like, what is, I don't know.
She even mentioned very early on that there was a familiarity with Kai when she first meets him, but she couldn't explain why. I do not like this explanation.
Do you guys remember the hair tuck too? The hair tuck with Hera?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
with her
yeah,
dark
right.
hair. Like, is that going to come up later? Probably not, because I think that we found a lot of red herrings that are going absolutely nowhere. But I also think that it's possible that it was like, was it the dark hair and the hair? Like, I kept waiting for her to be like, and then I saw Kai, like, I kept, when we were getting Kai's perspective of killing her dad, I kept waiting for him to be like, and then I nervously, like, kept tucking my hair behind my ear to, like, make that make sense. But so I don't know if, like, that was what that was for, was to try to give us more like, oh my goodness, I knew it was him the whole time, but I just, like, blacked out and inserted the king because trauma. I don't know.
No.
There is one condition and one condition only in which I will accept this as believable, and that's if in the next book we get like, oh, and there's people that can alter memories, and for some reason someone went into her memory and like changed it to make her think it was the king. Like the literal only thing I will accept. Otherwise, I just logistically don't think it makes sense at all for her to imagine someone who like she's never seen in person, maybe she's seen on like flyers, and insert him into her memory of her dad dying.
Because she was so convinced with the green eyes. Like,
She was.
that's,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And I honestly, I'm not lying when I say this. There is something, I know what it is. I love the Kai and Peyton relationship in this book so much. I'm gonna give it to her. You know, Lauren, I'm gonna give it to you. I don't care why. I hope you chalk it up to trauma, but like, I'll give it to you. Honestly. I am here. I am sold. I need to see where this relationship goes.
Yeah, I did like the romance. The romance is what like pushed me forward to keep going. I don't think I would have, I mean, other than book club, because I love you guys.
We decided we're reading
I
this series and we're reading this series.
we are committed. But like the romance, the banter, how they interact was really, really cute. And I feel like Kai definitely carried this book. Um and I mean I do like Peyton, but I just don't love her. I don't know, how do you
Especially at
guys
the end.
feel?
I really liked Peyton up until like the last couple sections of the book.
Mm,
And I will say that, because I think that I would at least like to talk about like her fight with the king, because I actually really liked her part of that. But yeah, I feel like her character was really strong until she just made some decisions that didn't make sense to me, or like she didn't question them enough. Like her just blindly
mm,
going along with the resistance and like
that's
totally
true.
betraying Kit made no sense to me. Like I get her getting there, but I needed more of like the, wow, I've really come to care about this boy. And yes, do I believe we need to fight for ordinary? Sure, but like, is this the way we should do it? The answer is emphatically
Oh,
no. Right. And like, I just don't know why she didn't think through that at all, as like the resistance's plot is totally falling apart. And also, we did not call this, but like they backstab her and are like, and now we're going to kill these two boys. Just like, you know what, I actually didn't see that coming, because I thought that they weren't put together enough for that. But like, yeah, this is just awful all around. um but I mean, like, other than I think her choices not really making sense to me in the end of the book, I really liked her character, and I'm hoping that it comes back in book two.
I feel like there's so much we
I
can only like allow just because she's young. And I feel like that's one of them, you know? And we knew that the resistance was hiding something. We just didn't know what it was. Cause like I don't I would say they were completely forthright, even at the time when we first met them.
Yeah, but also to push back, like I don't think they betrayed her by threatening Kit and Kai's life because she never asked them to not hurt them. She was never like, "Oh, by the way, these people are my friends. Like they'll be okay, right?" She just like unquestioningly was like, "Resistance good."
Yeah, and I mean, like, I think that there needed to be more of a conversation with that. Like, that definitely should have come up because I think we can build it in a little bit. Like, I can assume that they understood that at least Kai meant something to her, like, but like probably also Kit because they would have all seen the trials, right? Like, they would have known what happened there. And they didn't tell her that that was the plan, so that was them not fully trusting her, which isn't great. But yeah, it's like I'm so surprised that there wasn't another meeting with them where she was like, "Okay, tell me all the details. I need to make sure that like they don't get hurt, like only the king gets hurt." Like just strange.
Yeah, it just wasn't fleshed out.
And I mean, granted, the biggest reason why it fell apart, other than it just being a bad plan to begin with, but like the biggest reason why it fell apart was Kit being able to do Kai, Kai being able to do this thing that nobody thought that he could do. So I get that he like had this cool like ace up his sleeve with being able to take on a silencer. But still, it's like the fact that your entire resistance plan fell apart because one guy could then use powers was like, you probably should have had a plan B in your pocket for that one.
Or like killed the king as soon as you got into the box.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah, no, go ahead, Elise.
I was just gonna say, I feel like the like relationships in this book were my favorite part, like between Kai and Peyton, obviously, but also between Peyton and Kit and Kai and Kit and Peyton and Adina. And what I'm not looking forward to is every single one of those relationships either has a giant or small, like we'll say Kit and Kai like just have like a teeny crack right now, but that's like gonna burst open undoubtedly. But like everyone else like dead or has a huge gaping hole. So like the next book is not set up to have any of the parts of this book that I liked. At least for the beginning.
Yeah, I definitely am concerned. I have a large concern.
Right,
So we
because
talked
who does
about
she have?
yeah, go
You
ahead,
know,
Jamie.
I was gonna say like who does she doesn't have anyone now. Like where is she gonna turn to?
Her her dad's basement because it's a secret hidey hole that no one can find.
Or another character that might be introduced in a novella that we're going to read next. I don't know. I agree with you, Jamie. Right now, she has no one. And the thing that flabbergasts me the most is that she seemingly doesn't care. Like, does not, like, she left there being like, I don't like Kai or Kit. And I'm like, how? How, ma'am? Like, and it, okay. Again, I get like the immediate response of, oh my goodness, this guy that I almost kissed killed my dad trauma. But how do you not even acknowledge the feelings that you have for him and understand that he didn't do it's not like he hated your dad. It's not like he hated you. Like he did it because he had to because of his awful father that you know about. Like you know about this.
Mm.
And that's why I hope that it's not going to take long in book 2 for all of them to be like, "You know what? I reacted badly. Let me be better."
My
Jamie?
hopes of that are low.
Same. And I'm not optimistic, but chances
I'm
of
not.
that.
Right. Like, did you guys think that she overreacted? Did you think her reaction made sense?
Hard for me to gauge because I think her not realizing Kai killed her dad in the first place was crazy.
Yeah. I think that just like overshadowed everything else.
But suspend disbelief. She didn't know.
No.
She just found out.
Literally, like, my sense of disbelief only goes so far, and it cuts off at she just made up the person that killed her dad
She
and
sure did.
happened to forget it was her interest.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I'm most mad about this entire book.
Um, you I think she overreacted that Kai killed her dad. No, like, I understand hating the person that killed your dad, but it's a weird dynamic where you've fallen in love with the person that killed your dad and then found out that he killed like, I think no, I don't think she overreacted. Like, I in a different situation where, like, if for some reason he just told her that he had killed her dad, or like she had found out some other way and she reacted like that, I'd be like, okay, that's fine. Go off and then come back.
Yeah. How do we feel about Kai's reaction? Do you guys think that his
Oh,
reaction
were we
is
talking about
warranted?
Kit? Oh, we were talking about Peyton.
No. Yeah, we were talking about Peyton.
Yeah, yeah.
But like Kai is the other one that I'm sort of, I guess, like immediate reaction I get, but at the same time I'm just so surprised there's no like, but I love her.
Wait, can I add something to Peyton the first? The
Yes.
one thing that I thought was ridiculous, like reaction justified, only part of reaction not justified is when he's like, they're like having that weird little interaction in the hallway, and she doesn't yell, "You killed my dad," for like anything he's saying.
Right.
That was the part that I couldn't get behind. Like, that's be upset, but tell him why you're upset.
Yes, I agree with that. She just accepted it and just didn't fight or like stand her ground and tell him. Just
Yeah.
say, yeah, kill me. Like,
Yeah, we watched we read a whole book about this like really strong woman who like yeah, made some questionable choices, but like then we get to the end and she just gives up. And like she just killed the king, which I have some questions about if she really should have been able to kill the king, but I love that she just like single-handedly as an ordinary killed the king. And then all of a
Brawny
sudden,
too.
right. And all of a sudden she's just ready to die. And not just like I'm yelling, I'm screaming, but like, yeah, go ahead and kill me because what do I have to live for? Like that I could have gotten behind a little more, but it's like
Mhm.
I'm not even going to say, I just found out you killed my dad. Kai doesn't even know that. And like, or your dad just admitted in in front of me and somebody who recorded it that he killed the ordinaries for basically no reason. Like there are
Which is
so
another thing.
there are so many
That
things.
is another thing.
Like Peyton could have been like, Kai, I am dealing with a lot right now. Like I just found out you killed my dad. I just killed your dad because he staged a genocide for no reason. And like I'm leaving because I can't talk to you about this right now. But like if you want to come find me, we can talk. No. She's just like, go ahead, stab me.
It just makes like all of the buildup of their relationship mean nothing.
In this moment, yeah. It is kind of like,
Yeah.
did either of you mean anything to either of you?
So back to the pointless genocide. I I
Sorry.
thought there was gonna be more. Like, the
Yeah,
king was
same.
the flattest character in the entire book, which is saying a lot because Kid existed. Um, he literally admits to doing genocide for genocide's sake. Like, there was no ulterior reason. He was just like, I just said there's a disease. You can't prove there's not a disease. And no one outside of the resistance has thought of that. And then also his like whole, oh, I've known you were ordinary the whole time, but I needed you. He never says why he needed her, and I'm assuming we never find out because he's dead now. So like, why did he need her? Can someone play the devil's advocate on that?
Well, we'll never know now.
Give me a second. I'm coming up with something. Okay. So King needed Peyton, and I'm thinking that he was planning on using her as some sort of like ace in the hole. Like, this is why ordinaries are bad. Public execution. Like, gain public's approval. No one will ever question ordinaries ever again. And that's how he quashes the resistance. Like, I'm guessing it was something along those lines. But like, there's so many questions surrounding the king and Peyton. Like the fact that he's like, "Oh, I've known you were an ordinary for a long time." First of all, sir, how? Was it that Adina like slipped? Because there is like, we did mention that Adina's like that person that knows, and is that going to go poorly? So is that what Adina is apologizing for in the moment that she dies? Like, did she accidentally slip and say something that the king caught wind of? But yeah, like, why did we kill Adina? She clearly, I don't think, but like, we don't see that she actually did something to deserve death, other than what Peyton believes is that the king was just making it so that she either wouldn't win or had to kill her best friend in order to win. Why did he need Peyton? How did he know? What's going on?
Why didn't we get his monologue? I
Right,
felt
his
like
evil
that would have
villain
been like,
monologue.
yeah, that would have been a perfect time to get a monologue.
Maybe we will get it in Adina's book. Like if Adina is the one that told him, and like right before he kills her, or like right before, like when he takes her into custody or whatever. Maybe we'll find out. Like I hope we find out. Otherwise, the whole "I needed you" it doesn't make sense.
It
Like it's
doesn't. And
not clear why he needed her.
we don't know if Adina even said anything. I mean, she is apologizing, but we don't know for what.
Yeah.
Like it's like apologizing that she's in this position, or apologizing for doing something that, we don't know.
Yeah. And I mean, like, this is not my first dystopian novel. So it's like, I'm not saying that there needed to be more of a reason for the king to do what he did to Adina, right? Because, like, just, being awful for awful's sake. Um, but it just, what did he want to use Peyton for? And I'm hoping that we're going to find out in book two, because I have to assume that, like, the king has some sort of manifesto or something that is, like, in his desk that Kit is going to be like, "Okay, dad, where's the rule book for how to be king day one?" Or I guess day four, since he's already done 3 days and somehow is still being a little twerp. But um, yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious to see if there's a reason, like if we ever do get there.
We don't.
We might not, because I
don't
think
think we're-
there are already a lot of things in this book that we didn't get answers to, that I'm not anticipating getting answers to.
Yeah. Like I don't know if it's the first book thing and we'll get it later, or this is all we're gonna get.
Yeah. Is it a first book thing in that, like, the answers are coming? Is it a first book thing in that we needed to work out our plot holes in the first book, and now book two is gonna like be airtight? Twists make sense? Maybe.
Know what I
Something that
did like about this section?
what?
That Jackson and Andy both made it out alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. i- If you had asked me, and I mean, like, I think that I was pretty clear about it, but like, episode one, Brooke was so sure that neither Kit nor Jax were making it out of this book alive, and
Yeah,
somehow we have both
right.
of them.
Yeah.
What?
I would have rather Kit died than this be his evil origin story.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting Adina.
I wasn't either.
Did either of you cry?
No.
No. I teared up.
I feel like we didn't get enough of Adina. Like, I liked her character, but I didn't love her character. We didn't get enough of her for me to really like know a lot about her and like what
Mhm.
she likes other than sewing and Peyton. So I wasn't really
Honey,
crushed. Honey, you're right, and sticky buns. We just we didn't really know a ton about Adina, and I think in that moment I was upset about the choices that Peyton was making. Um, and like her character
I
didn't really make sense to me either.
Mhm. I think I was more upset for Peyton in that moment.
Yes.
She was losing this person, like her best friend, who's always been there for her, um, and then the way she had to go to by Blair was just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Do you guys think we're gonna get a Blair Kit marriage?
Oh.
Mm.
Now I do. Yeah. But like of convenience, like Kit just being like, it's
Yeah,
my royal duty to marry a female and sire offspring
yeah,
to carry on
yeah.
the pointless genocide.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oof.
Yeah, I feel like I also wasn't like super heartbroken. One, because we didn't know Adina super well, but also like in that moment, I was trying to figure out what was happening because we got like, oh, the branch went through her, which is what Kai had done to Braxton, like when he like, well, it's what Blair did to Braxton, but Kai interrupted
Mhm.
it.
Mhm.
And the only person we knew that was in that middle center part was Kai. Like, did Kai really just cold-blooded murder Adina in front of Peyton? Because that make it make sense. And then, so I was just reading, trying to be like, Blair's here, right? Like, it had to be Blair, and we don't get that was Blair for like a page.
Oh, yeah, I did not have that confusion. I knew it was Blair.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, I mean, like, other than her death being like painlessly pointless, in my opinion, and just like
Mhm.
her fingers being broken, like, that whole description was just awful. I was like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Like, they tortured her
Why?
before bringing her over here? Like,
Oh, so
I
then they
just
must have tortured her for information, you think, right?
that's my guess. So
Oh.
I'm interested in like a I don't really want to see it, but I want to know why. Like I want to know what led up to that. Um
Mhm.
the thing with Adina that keeps getting me, and again, I don't know if this is going to be like a clever plot twist in a future book or if it's just like a weird like writing thing that I'm picking up on in a strange way that isn't intended. But did you guys catch when um Peyton has Adina in her lap, is like crying over her, and then like the stuff is happening around them, and then Peyton gets up to ease out of there and has forgotten her dead best friend is on her lap. Like
Yeah.
she has a moment where she's like, "Oh my god, I just tried to move and there's a weight on me," and like, "Oh, it's Adina's dead body and now I'm sad again. How did I forget her again?" And like we've had two moments now where I don't understand why Peyton is like, "Did I just fully forget my best friend? I'm awful. Like how could I do that?" And the only reason that I think that this stood out to me is the forget me not scene with Hi. He gives her the flower and says, like, don't ever forget what I am to you. Like, you can forget me, but don't forget what I am to you. Is there some, like, weird, like, magic y
Mhm.
thing with Hayden not being able to remember Adina? Like, or remember things in general? Like, is that one of the reasons why she couldn't remember that it wasn't the king that killed her dad? Like, are we building to something or am I stretching here? Am I clawing for anything I can find?
Oh gosh.
Hope so. Like,
Yeah.
hope, I hope so
'Cause
bad
that
there's a
sounds
reason,
good.
like,
That sounds appealing. That sounds like it's gonna
it,
be something.
It just seems
do
so
I think it's
ludicrous to me.
likely?
How do you forget your dead friend is in your lap? I get for a moment being
Yeah.
like, oh my God, like I was just pulled away looking at all this carnage and I still am like mourning my best friend and having that moment where you're like, I can't even fully mourn her right now because of everything that's happening. And I get being like, okay, I can't bring your body with me. This is awful, but I'm going to have to put you down now and I'm going to have to leave and like have this emotional trauma later. But like it just was written in a way that was like, I forgot she was on me. I was like, what?
Question. Is there gonna be something important like sewn into her vest? Like, is there a reason she needs her
You had to
vest?
run back for that.
Guys, I
Oh, but I
kid you not.
promised her. I promised her that I wear it forever.
The vest has to have something, right? Like, there absolutely has to be something about the vest in one of these next two books, or I riot. Because even if there is something, even if there is something, Peyton doesn't know that. Peyton thinks it is a piece of cloth. And for whatever reason, she promises her dying friend, I will wear it every day. And then thinks that it's more important to go get that piece of clothing than save herself in what I think is the most pointless scene in this whole book. Like, you going into the castle and then like being carried to your room and then having your foot healed just so you can get this vest and leave with it. But then nothing still happens. And this is me being like, okay, convenient plot device, it's fine, we've got the vest. As the king is about to stab her in the chest, I say, thank goodness we have the vest that has to be made of like dragon scales or mithril or something that is going to make it so that, oh, no? Okay, never mind. Guys, what's up with the vest? We have to find out. So what are our guesses? Like, what, Elena, do you actually think it's something is like stitched into the vest?
Brooke, it's just
I hope
leather.
so. Yeah.
It's just her
Once again,
best
I
word.
hope there's something stitched into the vest, but my personal thoughts are nothing. Literally zero.
Those are the 2
We're
options, right?
no, the options are we're gonna go in with really low expectations.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm not saying that we can't keep talking about other plot things that may or may not have made any sense. But I have to say, we've been railing on a lot of the plot points a lot. And I just need to reiterate how much I still, to this moment, cannot wait to open book two to see what happens with Kai and Peyton. And like in this
Elena.
section, in this section, I did not love all of their choices, but I loved the scene that they had with their almost kiss. I thought that was a really, really sweet. There were some lines in there that like absolutely just like had my heart. And I am entirely down for this dynamic of I now need to hunt you because even if I'm coming around to thinking that I don't want to kill you, my brother wants me to kill you. And her needing to come to terms with his dad, him killing her dad. Like I think that it'll be an interesting dynamic and I'm interested to see how it plays out. Elena before this episode posited that maybe she would skip this book entirely and we would do our episodes as normal and she would live react to Jamie and I telling her what we thought, which let us know if you want that to happen.
Is I'm personally not looking forward to that dynamic where like he's hunting her, she's mad at him, he's mad at her. Like they end up together at the end, and it's just gonna be a full book of like angst and being angry at each other, and no cute little like some were like I lived for the cute little moments in these books. They were very much the highlight. So looking forward to a book that might not have them, or like at least in the beginning probably won't have them. I'd rather just skip to book 3.
Jamie, how do you feel?
I'm gonna keep going.
We are going to keep reading the series because we decided as a book club we were going to read this series. I think my hope, Elena, because I totally agree with you that those were the things that like kept me going through what I assumed were plot holes and then was confirmed were plot holes. I think for me, what I'm hoping for is that very, very early on in book two, both Kai and Peyton understand that they do love each other and are like, oh my God, how do I like get over what's happened to get to them? And it's like, it's a good angst. It's like the, you know, him alone in his room, like oh my goodness, like I just can't, like my hands are sweating and all I can think about are her beautiful eyes, but like I can't betray Kit like that. And then Peyton, like, you know, staying in the shadows when he's like out looking for her, but like all she wants to do is like come out and like, mac his face because they've never been able to kiss before. And I'm hoping it's like beautiful moments of tension like that, but not for the whole book. I don't
Like,
know.
I also I will read book two if only because like imagine two happens and like all these plot holes that we've been railing about for an hour are filled. Like there is a mind changer that like changed her memories and we find out why the king needed her alive. Oh, and there's a reason that he waged this genocide that makes more sense than he just wanted to. Do I think it's gonna happen? No, but it might.
But Elena, he had a really good reason. He didn't want their inferior blood to sully the elite bloodlines. It's what we guessed in episode 2.
I want it to be more interesting than straight.
Yeah. And maybe it is. Maybe we'll find out he was bluffing and there was like a cool super virus that he didn't want the ordinaries to breed into the elites and then get superpowers.
Maybe.
Maybe. Just your garden variety genocide. Uh,
Classic fantasy.
um, anything else? Any other moments or anything that we liked, didn't like, or questioning? Can't wait to see if that plot hole gets filled in.
I just like to double down on hating Kit's evil origin story.
Yep. Yeah.
That's it.
I think the
I hate it.
thing, because you did say that you would rather him be dead, and I think that the only reason that I prefer Kit and his evil origin story are that if Kit had died, that would have turned into Kai's evil origin story. And if that was book 2, I think we might be telling our book club that we're not going to complete this series and it will be a mystery forever.
Fair
But
enough.
Kai isn't embarking on his evil origin story. I think he's going to get his head out of his butt. And hopefully book 2 is going to be something that we're all like, ah yes, this was worth it.
I'm not sure Elena and I have those hopes.
Fingers crossed. Um, but we're doing it. We're going right into, well, we're not going right into Reckless. We're going to read Powerful. It's a bridge novella between Powerless and Reckless, and we're going to do one whole episode on that and bring you our thoughts on Powerful. And then we're jumping right into Reckless, and we're gonna break it up into 4 chunks. We'll let you guys know what those are, and then hopefully you'll read along with us, and we'll see what happens. I think we gotta know. We just gotta know at this point. Yeah. So join us back here for Powerful and or Reckless, and we'll see you then. Bye, guys.